Here's my testimony. In 2002, when I initially lost my job, my next question was, okay, God, what's next for me? And he gave me the vision to start a business called the PIT Experience, which stands for Positive Interactions Training, where I would be a consultant for different companies to train their staff on customer service to create a better experience, right? My next question was, okay, God, what does that look like? How do I market this? And how much do I charge for this? The number that God gave me blew my mind. I heard in my spirit $1,000. Now I thought to myself, now who is going to pay me $1,000 to come train their staff on customer service? God didn't answer right away. In 2023, I asked God, okay, when is this business going to start? Again, God, how do I market this? Who is my client? It wasn't until the fall of 2023 that God actually answered. Earlier in my career, back in 2005, I worked as an assistant director at the Boys and Girls Club of the Big Bend in Tallahassee, Florida. At one of the other clubs, there was a director by the name of Casey Dennis. The Lord said to me, the Boys and Girls Club is your first client. So I began to research and I saw that Casey was the CEO now of the Boys and Girls Club. And I said, okay, wow, God. Wow. So I reached out to Casey. And in my own self-sabotaging way and not trusting in what I heard God say about my value, I said, okay, I'm going to do this for no charge. This is just to get my feet wet. I just want to get out there, get my name out there, so on and so forth. So when I reached out to Casey and presented this, the first thing he said to me is, wow, this is exactly what we need. This is a God-answered prayer. I could use this for my staff. And I remember when God gave me the Boys and Girls Club, I'm like, well, how do I do this, Lord God? Like, am I teaching this to the children, the members there? Like what? But Casey answered my question that I had for God. It was for his staff because the customers were the parents and the members. So again, I told Casey, this is on the house. This is no charge. I didn't even mention to him that, hey, this is my first time. You're my first client. None of that, right? So we scheduled the time to set up the training. The training went immensely amazing. I was nervous because I had not done this since March of 2022 before I lost my job. I was a facilitator for the state of Florida at the Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. So I wanted to, again, get my feet wet and get my voice back out there in the capacity of entrepreneurship. But the training went extremely well. After the training ended, Casey came over to me and we were talking on the side and he said to me, I want to sow this seed. Literally said, I want to sow this seed. Now I started crying because again, I wasn't expecting anything. This was on the house. I had no problem doing it for free. None of that. So I cried a little bit over there, dried my tears and just said, thank you so much. And he said, no, thank you. This is, again, exactly what we needed. All of his staff was saying thank you and how much they learned and, how much they would implement everything that was taught that night and so on and so forth. When I got home, I was so nervous. I didn't even want to open the envelope. I gave it to my daughter and I remember calling my man and just, telling him how everything had gone and how everything went. I handed the envelope over to my daughter for her to open. When she opened up the envelope, her eyes grew big and she handed it to me. And when I looked at it, it was a seed for $1,000. The exact amount that I heard God say to charge for these services. Now, me, myself, at the time before this happened, I didn't think that my value, that my word, that who I was, what I was doing was worth $1,000. I initially was like, okay, maybe I charge 200. I don't know. What are people paying for these? I'm researching things and I'm seeing big amounts for what people would pay for these. But I'm looking at it from the lens of Marquetta. And because I didn't value myself at $1,000, I couldn't see that anybody else would pay that. But the thing of it is that whomever your client is, God will send them and they will pay that and more for the services that you provide. So we have to make sure that we truly place value in who we are, and that will help us place value on what we do.